All right, I think I'll just keep rolling. That's I'm gonna speak a little bit louder. Yeah, it's just off a phone, so I guess it sounding a little bit quiet. But hopefully, wherever this ends up, YouTube or whatever, they'll have a better volume controller. Um, I'm gonna go more comedy now, so don't. I'm gonna qualify this from the start. This is meant as comedy, and therefore don't hate me because I'm trying to just put some humor, sarcastic, yeah, sarcasm into some things that are happening, and that's sort of what I like to do, anyways. And it's all going to be ad-libbed. I'm not even sure what I'm going to talk about yet, although I think I do know now. I'm going to tally on the back of the Justin one, and but I'm going to move into more of a hopefully a fun tape. It's not like the other ones, which is kind of on topics, serious topics. Um, so I think I'll just start with a much easier one, and let's discuss racism. I want to discuss racism because I think that too often we're only hearing from people that have had racism put on them. We're not hearing from people that are judged because they're white, Caucasian old guys that are probably the racists. I can honestly say, I can tell you, just like the guy from Nixon, I can honestly tell you, I'm not a racist. However, because I'm not a racist and I date multiculturally, I have seen racism in return. Also, I'm kind of unique. Well, I'm not unique, but less percentage than a lot of people in countries like America, Canada, Britain, France. Well, maybe not France anymore, but not even Australia anymore. It's changed too. But I've traveled and worked abroad, and I've dated abroad, and I've worked in companies where I worked in one company in Singapore where I was the first white guy they ever hired. So people that are in these countries, our countries not, and growing up or coming from another country and starting out, they, the experiences they've had, and they figure that people like me have no idea really, because you can't, walk a mile in my shoes before you open your mouth. I have walked more than a mile in your shoes. Being the only white guy in the company would be a good one to start on, actually, and I will now because that just figures that's an easy one for me to work on. When I went to this company, I just went as a consultant. 3 months in, I guess I had consulted pretty good, and they liked it. They sent me home at Christmas. I had at that time, I was in a marriage and I had young children. So I came home for Christmas, and they kept sending me tapes. You're coming back. You're coming back. Phone calls, emails. You coming back? You're coming back? Yeah, of course I am. Like, they don't, they didn't know, but or they probably should have known. I'd given up my job, obviously, to go there for those 3 months, and I was starting fresh, and this was my new thing. So I'm seeing a flashing here. This may stop. I hope it doesn't. Um, so, anyways, of course, I'm coming back. Well, the reason they were checking so much is why I was gone. They decided the guy that had a key position in their company wasn't performing, and they were letting him go, and they needed to know that they had a replacement, and it was going to be me. So I ended up going back and running 22 grocery chain type, like the old Woodwards, where it was food and department. I was going to run the food division. So I go back there to run this food division as the first white guy they've ever hired, with their boss for years having just been fired to make room for me. Of course, nobody told me this when I went back. I kind of walked into it. Um, the racism I had already experienced was nothing compared to the racism I experienced going forward from there. So I can actually speak from, I understand you guys. It can be awful. It can be um, worrisome, like, physically worrisome, mentally draining, upsetting. It can be a lot of things. Depressing, very depressing. So yes, I can look anyone in the eye and go, I know what you're talking about. On top of that, I have, remember I was going to go comedy here a bit, I have the correction the world needs to do. Correction is we absolutely need to crossbreed. We need to just get out there. It should be a policy in high school. Yeah, let's not go junior high, too young. In high school, you must date someone from another country, someone from another ethnic background. You must. It's just, you don't graduate without having dated someone from another cultural background. It sounds funny, right? But can you imagine? People that think they have preconceived from their mums and their dads and from TV and stuff, notions of what other cultures are like, suddenly being immersed in it, mentally, physically, lovingly. Hopefully some of them turn into loves, like long-term relationships. It'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? It would probably cure racism. It's hard to hate someone because of their culture or background when you've slept with them and you enjoyed them. They enjoyed you, you enjoyed them, you went to their functions, their religious functions, they came to yours, you met their family and did their traditions, they came and met your family, they did your traditions. And then even if you didn't make it, it'd be really hard to see someone like that person and not think warm thoughts or, that reminds me of, in a positive. And that is something that nobody wants to seem to have the middle class, the lower classes do. They don't want us to overmingle because they can't control us. Control comes from being able to say, you must hate them for their religion, for their skin color, for their beliefs. Like, just, we're going to find a reason for you to dislike them, and if you don't, we're going to throw the match into the gas. We're gonna light a flame to make you. So and that's really easy to do because of wars, and all you have to do is not even be the person that from the other country or background that actually killed the person. You just have to project that it was them. You could actually have someone do it yourself, or you could pay someone to do it. Someone who wants the money, and next thing you know as well, you kill my brother, I have to kill your brother. You kill my sister, I have to kill your sister. I hate you because you hate me. And isn't this funny? The funny thing about it is that we allow ourselves to be controlled this way. And the only way to break out is for the masses to rise up and say, fuck that, it's not them, it's you guys and your greed. And greed is the biggest problem on this planet. It's greed. Straight, flat down greed. So I'm going to talk about on my next tape, the capping of greed. Because I don't think, it's not, he's a communist. I'm not communist. Capitalist. But we have to have a cap on greed. Without a cap on excessive greed, there's no incentive for those people not to continue to escalate what they're doing, to increase their greed, to increase their little, I'm the richest man on the planet, I'm the second richest, I control governments, I control armies, I can have a war if I want. Woo-hoo-hoo. Just out of control greed is hurting us all. Racism is only, I think mostly, is through manipulation. Because at the end of the day, there's nice people in every culture. Lovely people. Every religion, culture, sexual preferences, it doesn't matter. Love is love. If people are enjoying each other, whoop-de-ki-yay, why don't we just then figure out, alright, the planet can hold so much food, so much water, so much population. It's, this place is good for planting, this place is good for industry, this place is good for resources. Like, if we looked at the planet as a whole and us humans as a whole, we could solve world issues. Environmental too, of course, because that would control it in itself. We look at it as a world thing. Alright, we are going to still need some sort of heat till we get to the new energies, but we don't need a bunch of coal. And then next thing we should probably get rid of after coal would be oil. And then as we invent more things, gas. Obviously solar and water power are huge. We just we haven't invested in making them work. But they're there. The sun's there. There's no reason we can't use the sun. Alright. Hope this one hits a nerve for a couple of you. It does for me every time I hear myself ramble on it. It feels like there's a solution there. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Cheers, bye.